So, my name is Sophie Nabil,
And I've been living in this country for the past 2.5 years.
which means that I've been going out in the streets, in the local buses,
It's like really colorful buses.
on the crowded market,
In crowded markets where I have to shout because
eating the local food,
trying to catch buses.
and doing everything else. When I came in Dhaka for the first time, the first thing I remember, my first thought of the city is, this city is a mess. And that still holds true. Most of you can agree with me, or most of you cannot. I mean, it really depends on the perspective that you have about the city. But I'm sure many of you won't deny the fact that this city is kind of messed up, especially when I talk about the traffic. I'm at a friend's place in Old Dhaka right now, and this place is especially very crowded. Like, it's very crowded. It took me a long time just for a few kilometers from Gulistan to this point. It takes you a long time to travel from one place to another. In a context, I would put it like from my place in Srinagar to Gulmarg. I remember going there. It took me, I think, around 2 hours, less than that. And that distance is 45 kilometers, more than that. And when you compare it to here, 2 hours will get you past only 10 kilometers. That's it, because of the traffic jams. Whenever you're making plans to go out in this city, you have to be very specific with your timings. We have to be very well planned on when to go, what time is the best to go, what days are the best to go. Dhaka is the main center, the main hub for all the commerce, for all the businesses, because this is the main city where you have most of the work. So a lot of people come to here in search of work, jobs, and even education from all parts of the country. And this makes Dhaka very congested. And it's one of the mostly densely populated cities in the world. As far as I know, the crowds are through the roof. The buses, the traffic is, it's insane. At more places, the traffic rules, even though they exist on books, in practice they're non-existent. In the places where, let's say, the high-profile areas, they have proper traffic rules, speed limits, traffic lights, traffic policemen. There is a regular flow of traffic. But once you go out of that zone, it suddenly becomes a mess. You have no idea where the cars are going in, coming from, and it is even more evident in this part of the city. The farther you go from Dhaka to the more crowded areas of Dhaka, like from the center, the farther you go, by center I mean around, not really Dhanmondi, the farther you go from the Prime Minister's office, I'd say. I don't know what that area is called. I think it's called Tejgaon. The Farmgate, Tejgaon. Farmgate is pretty messed up. The farther you go from the Parliament and DOHS areas and army areas, where the army cantonments are, the farther you go from these areas, the more and more messed up the traffic becomes. There's no traffic policemen. Even if there are, the traffic doesn't get handled well. And these days, you have a big freaking mess. I went to Mirpur a few days back and the traffic was all nuts. Even so more because it's the Eid time. Sadarghat is near, and Sadarghat is like the commute place. There are a lot of ferries going from that place, and a lot of people choose this place as their going out point to their various cities and towns, as far as I know. I could be wrong, but that's what I have been told. Because I'm not from this city, I come from Kashmir. I come from Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir. It's really like very two different cultures, very two different places. If I don't like Dhaka, why am I still living in Dhaka, right? It's a logical question, because I am studying here. What am I studying? And how did this happen? I'll probably explain in further videos. But for now, I'm living here, and I'm living here the way it's supposed to be lived, in the taste of Dhaka, traveling along the most local transports, eating the local food on the streets, going around places that I've been told are good, and some of them actually are. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not really trying to compare this place to Kashmir, because every single place has its own vibe, its own cultures, its own taste, its own flavor. I'm not trying to ruin that by any means, but there are certainly some places in Dhaka where you can let's say probably hang out. But there are not a lot of places like that. What I've realized in my long time here, that most of the people, when they have to socialize, their optimum places are restaurants, cafes, and party centers, what they call them. So basically, people here are not very outgoing to other places because there are not so many places, to be honest. So a lot of people get around the restaurants and stuff. So I'll be reviewing and going into these restaurants and cafes and really trying to figure out where Dhaka gets its most meetings done. Then again, I could be wrong because my opinions could be based on my views and my past and where I have experienced all this stuff before. But even after that, I'll try to shrink these places into the best of Dhaka. I am limited by my money and I'm limited by my equipment. I mean, you know the student lifestyle. You're always short of cash and equipment. I'm going to be using my mobile phone for my photography shots. Probably I'll lend an action camera from one of my teachers. He told me he'll lend it to me. But other than that, it's just me, one guy from somewhere outside traveling the city in its roots, in its down streets. I've seen so many channels on Dhaka, they're trying to collect the cinematography, which by no means is a bad thing, but at the same time, I haven't seen a lot of channels who are focused or who are showcasing the real Dhaka as it really exists, as in the transport, the food, the cultures, and everything in between. I'll still be documenting as much as I possibly can. First in Dhaka, and then I'll be moving out to the periphery. But for now, because my holidays are on, I'm not going home. So I'll be going around Dhaka, checking out the different places. All I need from you guys is just some support. I don't really need any other kinds of support other than subscribing my videos and liking this first one. As you go in my past videos, you'll realize that I probably covered videos on contemporary topics or commentary and stuff. But those were all experiments and I'll probably do them again. But for now, for this time, I'm focused on these travel videos around Dhaka. Hope you guys enjoy it. Drop a few subs, give a few likes, and keep on supporting my channel. I'm a bit optimistic. I'm really optimistic on that. Dekha hoga inshallah.